Hey trainers, Alakaham here with some more Pokemon video magic, and I have decided to do a live recording for this video instead of going back and doing a bunch of editing and such. I might try and throw in some music or something like that later, but basically I'm just now getting a chance to play in the new Max Out season of Pokemon Go, and I've created some teams. There's probably some weaknesses to these teams, so I can expect that people will have plenty that they could say or suggestions that they could make. I sort of just threw together some teams off the top of my head that featured Pokemon that had updated or buffed moves. So I'm just going to... I haven't played any set in the new season yet, and I thought I would just do that on stream with all of you. So Marowak is a Pokemon that was recently kind of improved. Its fast move Mud Slap and then Bone Club, both of those things got updated. Its biggest challenges are ice and water, so I am kind of double weak to ice using Lurantis there, but I figure water is a much more likely challenge. And then Oranguru has access to Trailblaze, so it can use some grass type moves, but it's also kind of general coverage there. And unfortunately I ran out of charge TMs trying to update my Dusknoir, and I don't have a Dusknoir to show off to you. I mean, I do, but it has all the wrong moves, so it's not going to be very helpful. So Oranguru is using Foul Play instead of Brutal Swing. Technically Brutal Swing is better. Alolan Marowak got a buff because Bone Club has been improved, but besides the Marowak, this team is probably a little bit more boring, using Chestnut to deal with water types and Azumarill to be neutral against water and to deal with dark types. Chestnut, as a part fighting type, also deals with dark types, so basically the things that beat AWAC are gonna have trouble with Chestnut or Azumarill, or at least that's the hope. I have Shadow Machamp, and I tell you what, I have knocked out a great many of my elite fast and charge TMs, updating various Machamps in various leagues. So this Shadow Machamp now has the upgraded move Karate Chop, which I have not tried out yet, and Stone Edge. And I'm not sure Stone Edge is really all that much of an improvement over Rock Slide, so I am second guessing my use of Elite Charge TMs a little bit, but that's okay. I also have other Machamps that have other moves, so I can always use those if I need to. Licky Licky I used an Elite Charge TM so that I could give it Body Slam, and then I also gave it the new move Rollout. And this team is a little bit more shaky. If you hear me pause, I'm going to be sipping some tea back here. So it's evening time for me. I'm finished with work, I'm finished with grocery shopping and various things that I had to do tonight. So now I'm sitting down to do Pokemon Go, and I'm going to just have some nice green tea here while I'm playing through these games. So Machamp is gonna have problems with like fairies and with flying types, and I've covered flying decently well. I think neutral from Licky Lick. Well, actually Rollout does super effective now, and then Dugong is ice. I don't have anything that's just great against fairies, so I'm counting on Machamp being able to take out fighting types that would be a problem for Licky Licky or Dugong, and for those two being able to handle anything else. We'll see how that goes. I have a Gastrodon, which is actually only a single move, like single charge move Gastrodon right now, and unfortunately that move is Body Slam, which has just been debuffed. So it has the improved Mud Slap, that's good, but it could be better. It does lose to grass types, so I've got a fire flying type with Talonflame, and then of course a poison type. And I say of course here because poison types that use the fast move Poison Sting have been updated. That's why Clodsire is looking so good now. So I've paired Clodsire with Malamar. Malamar has had a buff to its fast move Psybeam, and Fortress is a steel type to go like guard against fairy types, which would be super effective against Malamar, and Fortress got an upgrade with Volt Switch. I've got some other teams that I want to utilize that are saved down here, but I'm only going to get to play 5 games, so Dunsparce is doing better now that Rollout is even stronger. I already liked Dunsparce, but yeah, that's good. Mandibuzz is a good core breaker for a lot of teams, and I'm also really excited for Drifblim. Drifblim was really cool for a while, and then it sort of fell out of favor, and now it has Astonish. So Astonish is pretty good. It's recently got a boost, so I'm interested to see how Astonish is going to do on this particular Pokemon. Also on Dusknoir, I'm really excited to use... I've got a Shiny Dusknoir, I've got a Shadow Dusknoir. I've put extra moves on all of them, but I don't have the ideal moveset yet. So hopefully that gives you some kind of explanation of what I was thinking, even if there are some, weak points to some of the teams too. I think this will be decent for the first set. So we're just going to go into the Great League, and I don't know if those Little Cup teams are going to be any good or not. But we're not focusing on the Little Cup right now. We're just going to use some of these new improved players and see how that goes. So here we are. Snuck in a sip of tea, and we've got Marowak into Onix. So Onix is not very popular as a Great League player, and this person clearly thought that they were in the Little Cup, so that's a bummer for them. And they come out with Azumarill. So they're going to play it out. That's fine. We'll play it out too. And Bone Club is going to get blocked. We will... Oh, they've got a normal-sized Azumarill here, so I don't know what's going on. They're still playing it out, so that's what we're going to do too. Lurantis is a pretty decent counter to Azumarill. We would take super effective damage from Ice Beam if they have Ice Beam, but otherwise we are pretty set, and we charge up very fast with Lurantis. Lurantis was already a really cool Pokemon, and it's doing pretty well against some of the things in the meta right now too, now that the ground types are getting boosted through Mud Slap and Bone Club. Okay, so we will Leaf Blade this Azu, and hopefully... No, we're not going to get to another Leaf Blade. I feel like I can let this go, because we don't really have to worry about Onix up front. I think I can come in with the Oranguru and just kind of farm down there. And hopefully Oranguru plus Marowak will be able to handle whatever in the back. I think maybe Trailblaze recently got a buff too. I'm not 100% sure. I would have to look back on that. But Trailblaze is a pretty good move regardless. I'm going to shield that and just trust that with energy we're going to be doing fine here. So my opponent has an Executor in the back, and it's a good thing we have Oranguru, because Marowak does not really want to see any grass type charge moves, so they're going to have to use up those moves on Oranguru and either leave themselves energy dry or let us take them out. So we're going to go ahead and farm down there, and now we have the Trailblaze loaded for this Onix. It's probably just a misclick on their part, so that's kind of unfortunate, but still, we got to look at some of these new moves, and good game to my opponents. We'll go ahead and queue up the next match. It's nice to start on a win. And the next team we're going to try is kind of older and maybe boring in some ways, but Alolan Marowak is improved now, so let's see what it's got. Alright, we'll set the tea down, And clearly they anticipated that people would want to run AWAC, so they've got Swampy up front. I'm going to swap in my Azumarill. Looks like maybe they paused. Nope, my screen just stuttered. So they put in a lot of work for a lot of energy, and then they dipped out. And they come in with Skarmory. This is all right for us. Skarmory is actually doing worse this season than last season because Steel Wing is not going to be quite as ideal anymore. And it's going to take a lot to take out an Azumarill. Azumarill's pretty bulky. Maybe if they Brave Bird us here, they could take us out. Because I'm not really sure, I'm going to shield. Yeah, and I really want to win Switch here, so we're just going to take Switch and farm down. And they can go ahead and come in with their Swampert if they want to. They do not. Instead, they come in with Poliwrath, and we are locked and loaded with Play Rough. And let's see, they're using counter on their Poliwrath, and unfortunately, 4 Poliwraths everywhere. Counter has been nerfed a little bit this season. Not unusable, still like a decent move and everything, but certainly not what it was. I do think Poliwrath got a lot of upgrades over the past couple of seasons, so Poliwrath was maybe a little too strong. I did mention that to my partner not long ago. I'm going to go ahead and come in with the AWAC, and if they've got energy to throw, that's fine. We're basically going to be able to close the game with Chestnut. Okay, so they throw the Icy Wind, and they are going to use some of their energy from the Swampert, which is fine by me. Just a Surf. Surf has also been boosted recently, I think, so that gives some viable alternatives to using Elite TMs for moves like Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon's still better, but the difference is not quite as big. Okay, so we're able to take that game, and we will move on to game number 3. And here we have a couple of Pokemon with upgrades. I just double Elite TM'd Machamp and single Elite TM'd Licky Licky. Plus Licky Licky has access to Rollout for the first time, so these Pokemon have a lot of upgrades. This is going to be kind of tricky. Basically, if there's anything other than a fighter up front, I'll probably want to switch. Yeah. So I'm going to swap into Licky Licky, which is fairly bulky. That fast move isn't doing much, but we're going to get to our charge moves really fast. Look at that. That's great. Okay, so 5 rollouts to the first Shadow Ball, not too bad. Yeah, and we can tank that Earthquake, no problem. I was hoping they would swap because our Dugong is actually going to do even better against this thing, but that is wild to me that Clodsire can just tank a Shadow Ball and not worry about it. Clodsire is ridiculous, and Clodsire is going to be king in the new Great League. Okay, so this is not looking great. My opponent is just bringing the bulk with Clodsire and Carbink. And all I know here is that, yeah, Machamp might not be my best option against Carbink, but Dugong wants to see Carbink even less. So we are going to come in with the Machamp, and we are Karate Chopping. Don't want to risk getting Moonblasted here, that would be really bad. Yep, so there's the Moonblast. And we are building energy really fast. Really fast. I'm going to start cross-chopping. So these will be doing neutral damage. And of course it gets stabbed because Machamp is a fighting type, and then we've got the Shadow Boost as well. Okay, so they're feeling pretty good about the Clodsire, which makes sense to me. That's probably going to be a poison. like a sludge wave here. Sludge bomb. Yeah, not great for me. So we've got the Dugong, and they've got Greninja. Okay, so this is not looking particularly good. Machamp would have been really good against the Greninja. Yeah, they're going for the boost. I'm assuming that they know they'll survive one move, so I'm going to go ahead and throw the Drill Run first. Yeah. Then I'm going to shield. And we're going to go for an Icy Wind next. That way, whenever we get hit with the next move, it won't do quite as much damage, and ideally we can farm down here. Okay, so for me this is best case scenario, because what I want to happen is to be able to farm down with Ice Shard, but unfortunately they swapped. So I think we'll probably lose because they'll get to a charge move, and even debuffed here, it's gonna do a lot of damage. Yeah. But we were one Ice Shard away from farming them down. Yeah, that one was tricky. That did not play out quite as I hoped, but I'll keep tinkering with that team. That's a bummer that the the players who I spent the most investment on were the ones that performed the least well, but I knew that team was kind of shaky and mentioned that up front too. This team as well has Pokemon that have been boosted recently, but as far as this team composition, I'm probably going to keep tinkering with it. This is just an opportunity to kind of play with, you know, the new moves that are available and see what they're like. This is a really good start. So we've got a ground type against an electric bug. So here we go. Best they can do here is a lunge. And they have cross poison instead of lunge. They swap into the goon. The old skunky goon himself. Okay, we're gonna swap in here with our Talonflame, because it's just going to take resisted damage from the fast moves and neutral damage from potential charge moves, and resisted damage there, yeah. So that would be better than bringing in Drapion, which takes neutral fast move damage from everything. Even after being nerfed a little bit, counter is still gonna like knock things out pretty fast if a Pokemon just like gets to constantly wailing on me here. So I did not want to subject Drapion to that Obstagoon because it's part Dark type. My opponent is coming back in with the Galvantula. Makes sense to me because they've got electric moves to deal with my Big Bird here. And I wonder if we can farm them down. Yeah, I'm going to shield because that move went through and they should get knocked out. Yeah, okay, and then their Pokemon in the back is a Sharpedo. Wow. If that thing knew Waterfall, then it would have taken me out in one bite there, and I would have had to deal with it with other players. But we get a fly through, that's good. Unfortunately, didn't really get to see the Poison Sting buff there. But that's alright, that's alright. And we might see the Poison Sting buff with Clodsire here, so I'm going to use my own Clodsire. And then Malamar has Psywave as a fast move that's been updated, or Psybeam, or whatever it's called. I think it's Psywave. And Clodsire's fast move Poison Sting has been updated, and Fortress now knows a charge move, Volt Switch. So that's pretty good. Okay, my opponent is coming in with Skarmory. Unfortunately, Annihilape is not quite as good now that counter's been debuffed. All right, Volt Switch on Fortress is cool. So we don't have to worry too much here. This is going to be neutral because we're part bug type. But we survived it. They are debuffed. It only takes 4 of these things to get to Earthquake, if I was counting right. Okay, then they've got the Annihilate, and we're just going to go straight for Earthquake. Big hitter. Loving Volt Switch on this guy. Amazing. Alright, Clodsire could do alright here, but Malamar is a really good option, so we're gonna have to shield once, but that's fine. Look at how... Okay, this move is way better now. I tried using Psywave as a fast move last season, and it was not what I wanted. I switched back to Psycho Cut, and it is way better now. You see how quickly the charge moves are building up energy, so they seem afraid of Malamar in the back, so I'm gonna go ahead and shield this. I don't know why their Annihilate is so focused on taking out the Malamar, but I'm not gonna wait to find out. I'm gonna swap right into the Clodsire, and they have a Leafeon in the back, so actually Clodsire is great for their back Pokemon there. We're going to try and take out the Leafeon with this Sludge Bomb. Super effective damage, doesn't quite take it out. Man, Poison Sting is amazing though. Its Poison Sting is doing way more damage. We're charging up. We are charging up. Clodsire is ridiculous now. Like, Clodsire was already good. Clodsire is now going to be like the arch nemesis of everyone who is not running a Clodsire. Everything's gonna revolve around him. Alright, won 4 out of the 5 on the first set. Slightly disappointed we couldn't manage that last win, but that's okay. Very happy to start the new season on a positive set, and got a charge TM there, so I'll work on my Dusk Noir and try and have a video for that ready soon. Thank you for everybody who took time to stay here and hang out with me and listen while I played through this first set. If there are any teams you think I should try, I'm certainly open to suggestion for running some teams for a video. If you enjoyed the content, please like the video and subscribe to the page if you'd like to see more. Until next time, trainers.